Hey, hi, this is Gautam. I'm back. So in this short video, well, hopefully short video series, uh, I would be analyzing and valuing a small microcap Indian company, which is Agarwal Industrials. And this company is a play on the Indian infrastructure growth, or rather the road construction growth in India. Okay, so it's a play on road construction. All right. So before we get started with the video, so let me tell you, I'm not a SEBI registered analyst. Okay, and I'm making this video to basically help people learn equity research and valuation. So that is really the objective of this video. All right. Okay. So let me get started. Let me share my screen. So all right. So I have the latest investor presentation open. So although this company is a micro cap, but they do quarterly earning calls and they have these investor presentations as well. So I have the latest one open. Okay, so this is Infrastructure Ancillary, Agarwal Industrial. So if you look at this, the various business segments that they have, okay. So first is ancillary infra, which is bitumen and allied products. So what they do is they import bitumen, okay, which is something that is used in the construction of roads. Okay, so bitumen is used in road construction. So they import bitumen from these Gulf countries, bring it in India, and they sell it to road construction companies. All right. And so that's one. And we'll talk more about this, obviously. And then the second is ship operating and chartering. So they have their own ships, okay, and which they use to import bitumen. So many a times they also give their ships on rent to third parties. All right. So that's two. And they get 10% revenue from this segment. And third is petroleum products. They also distribute petroleum products in India. And then logistic windmill, these are like relatively small. Okay, so but largely they are uh, into uh, into importing of bitumen and selling it in India. All right, and in India, so they also, so depending upon the customer requirement, they also customize bitumen depending upon the customer needs. All right, so they have their manufacturing facilities at different places in India. They have their storage locations, a lot of storage locations spread around India as well. So they have their ports through which they receive bitumen, okay, and they have their storage location and they have the manufacturing plants as well. So they have quite a bit of infrastructure which they have set up over the years. All right, all right. Now, so let's dive into their respective business segments. So let me move forward. So if you look at this chart, okay, so they have their vessels, the ships of their own. Okay, so over the last 5 years, if you look at this chart, they have they have bought around 10 ships. Okay, which totally these 10 ships, they have a tonnage, or they have a capacity. They have a capacity of around 1 lakh tons. 1 ton is 1,000 kg, so they have a capacity of 1 lakh tons. Okay, so they use all these vessels, all these ships of their own to import bitumen into India, and they also use third-party ships as well. Okay, so not only so they use third-party ships to get bitumen into India as well. So not only they use their own, but they use third-party ships as well. As at the same time, they also give their vessels, their ships, to different companies, to different third parties for their own shipping needs as well. Okay, which is the second segment of revenue, which we just spoke about, which is ship operating and chartering. कि अपने शिप जहाज को, अपने शिप को किसी और कंपनी को दे देना, और उससे फिर उसको रेंट पे देते ना, उससे फिर ये रेवेन्यू कमाते हैं. So let's talk a bit about this a little bit as well. So let me go to the con call. All right, so I have the Feb 23 earning call transcript open. So let me, if you see, what the management says is that 25% of their own volume, they service through their own vessels. 25% of bitumen ka volume they ship through their own vessels, but actually it's closer to 40% as per the reported numbers from that time. Okay, and the remaining 60% they use third-party ka vessels. Right now, if you read further, let me go here. Okay, it's talking about chartering. Okay, so they give their own vessels bhade pe on rent to other third parties. So what they're saying is, if we get good opportunities of chartering, that is giving our vessels to other third parties, the company is always happy to do so. Okay, it's an opportunistic and profitable call, which they take depending upon the rates which are available in the market at that particular time. Okay, and so they use this chartering, okay, from which they draw 10% of their revenue as of now. All right. Okay. And but if you see, as we go further in this video, you would see that they are right now increasing the capacity of their own vessels to meet the incremental demand which is there in India. Okay, so if you saw that, so in fact, let's talk about demand, bitumen demand. Okay, so I know I show you that graphic in which, in fact, first let me show you that graphic and then let's talk about demand. Okay, let me do that. All right, so back to the investor presentations. If you see this graphic, right, they have been increasing number of ships every year. Okay, and if you see their explanation, let me open up their. So this is the earnings call transcript from June 2023. Okay, so let me go here. All right, so if you read through this, okay, so this is a part of our strategy to secure timely availability of vessels for meeting incremental demand prevailing in India at this point. Okay, so they are increasing the vessels to meet the demand of bringing bitumen into India, and it's also going to save them costs. Okay, in fact, what they are saying is, okay, that if they service this bitumen volume of, that is, they ship bitumen through their own vessels, तब वो थोड़ा सस्ता पड़ेगा. Okay, and so let me show this. I just pulled up November 2023 का report. So what they go on to say is कि if they use किसी और कंपनी का थर्ड पार्टी का वेसल टू इंपोर्ट बिटुमेन इनटू इंडिया, तब मोटा मोटा इट कॉस्ट देम $15 per ton. That is 1,200 rupees per ton. Okay, as per actually my calculation, it's actually higher, and I may get into that calculation later. But for now, just think कि if they service this volume through their own ships, then obviously it's cheaper vis-a-vis using किसी और कंपनी का वेसल और किसी और कंपनी का शिप to bring that bitumen into India. All right, that's why they have been increasing capacity. All right. All right, so before we understand bitumen ka demand, let's understand like what is bitumen at a basic level. See, it's a crude oil derivative. It's a crude oil byproduct. Okay, जब आप crude oil refine करते हो, it's produced in the process. Okay, so think of it as the it's not exactly tar that is used, but think of it, when you must have seen tar being used in road construction. Okay, so it's used along with, so bitumen is used along with that in road construction. All right, so so now let's talk about, see, and also see, India is an oil importing country. Okay, and so the refineries in India like IOCL, BPCL, HPCL, they refine crude. In the process, they produce bitumen as a byproduct. Okay, but that bitumen production is not sufficient to meet the demand which is there in India. That's why India needs to import bitumen from these Gulf countries. Okay, all right. And this company, Agarwal Industrial, has right now, it has a 15% market share in the overall imports that are happening in India. Okay, all right. So first, let's spend some time on the demand. Okay, which is the road construction that is happening in India. All right. So just making sure I'm getting recorded. Yes. All right. So I have the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways website pulled up. So if you look at this, India mein, the road network is around 67 lakh kilometers. Okay, usme national highways is close to 150, state highways is close to 180,000, and other roads is this much, 63 lakh kilometers. All right, and here's the distribution in terms of percentage. All right, and if you look at the road construction, typically the national highway construction that has happened over the last 10 years, look at this table. So India, 10 years back, India had 90,000, national highway length was 90,000. Now it is closer to 150,000, okay, kilometers. All right. So this is the amount of 60,000 kilometers in length worth of national highways have been constructed over the last 10 years. So this is the length. अगर आप 1 kilometer का highway, national highway construct करते हो, and if the highway has 2 lanes, then essentially you're constructing 2 kilometers. Okay. Here I'm just talking about the length. So if you look at this table niche, okay, here I'm talking about the overall, they're talking about the overall construction. Okay. So construction is averaging around 10-12,000 kilometers, okay, every year. So it's closer to around 30 kilometers of national highway construction every day. All right. So ये तो बात हो गई कि अभी तक construction क्या चल रहा है. And in fact, the government has communicated, okay, there's an article that came out a couple of months back, कि additionally, that is over 2 lakh kilometers of national highway needs to be built in the next 10 years or so, 10 plus years or so. Okay, तो 2 लाख किलोमीटर का नेशनल हाईवे और कंस्ट्रक्ट होगा अगले 10 साल में. तो अगर आप मोटा इफ यू जस्ट डू अ बैक कैलकुलेशन, दैट वर्क्स आउट अराउंड 12-13 डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द नंबर ऑफ लेन्स. अगर एवरेज आप 3 लेन पकड़ लो, per highway. Okay, so around 12-13,000 kilometers of construction is needed every year for the next decade or so. All right, more than a decade basically. All right. Okay, so see, this is just national highways. Okay, then obviously uh, there are state highways as well. Okay, state highways as well, which uh, uh, which are constructed by state PWDs. They also obviously require bitumen. Okay? And then the third, this other road, this is a huge segment, and a lot of it is Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, Gram Sadaks. Okay, all right. So Gram Sadak, if you look at this chart, I have this Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, uh, this website open. So if you look at this chart, from year 2000, there has been an incremental reconstruction or construction of these Gram Sadaks. Okay. In fact, right now, I think they are falling behind their target. Right. And the purpose really of these Gram Sadak is to provide connectivity to the unconnected habitats. All right. Okay. And one very interesting aspect. Okay. So if I go back to this investor presentation, just making sure I'm getting recorded. Okay. So if you go here, where did it go? Yeah. Okay. If you go here, India, there is a construction of, you just saw that 66, 67, whatever, lakh kilometers. China although China is a country which is almost 3 times the size of India, the road construction network is 52 lakh kilometers. Okay, it's surprising. Okay, and India it's higher. See, the reason is, India, a lot of the roads are like pakka roads, which would be reconstructed, or reconstructed, as part of these government plans. Okay, so but China so based upon what I read, whatever they have built, the infrastructure is solid. Okay, and because obviously China uh, uh, has been a fast growing economy, and also China plans to construct around 4 lakh kilometers of roads over the next decade or so. Okay, and one thing more, China. Okay, let's also talking about China. Let's also talk about India ka annual bitumen consumption and China ka bitumen consumption. Okay, I always take China as a good example because if India needs to grow, then and thoda China say, you can get some sense of where India is headed or where India could be headed. Okay, so India ka bhi bitumen consumption last year tha 8.3 million, that is 83 lakh ton of bitumen every year, annual. Sorry. Okay, now this figure is closer to 9 million ton, that is 990 lakh ton of bitumen annually. Okay, और refinery का जो production India में is on the has stayed put pretty much. Okay, they're not increasing the production of bitumen. Okay, that's why जो bridge करना है gap, that is the gap is being bridged by imports, and our company Agarwal Industrial has a 15 market share in the import. Okay, so basically, and if you look at China consumption, China is actually consuming around 4 times as much as India. So China ka current consumption is, India ka 9 million hai, China ka is closer to 34-35 million tons every year. Okay, and interestingly, China ka import is very close to India ka import. China is importing 3 million tons, India is also importing the same amount. That's because China का import कम करना पड़ता है, because China produces a lot of oil on its own. Okay, and उसका बाय प्रोडक्ट होता है बिटुमेन. तो चाइना largely, ऐसे not completely but largely, China is able to fulfill अपना खुद का बिटुमेन का need. All right. Okay, now the question comes, why, although India is an oil importing country, okay, why can't why can't HPCL, IOCL, BPCL, why can't they increase the production of bitumen? See, all these refineries, they have stated goals to increase their refining capacity over the next years or so. Okay, in fact, they have been increasing capacity. Okay, so but it is believed, okay, that they may not necessarily increase their bitumen ka production, because see, bitumen is a byproduct. During the refining process, they also produce other fuel oils as well, and those fuel oils are more profitable vis-a-vis bitumen. Okay, and during the refining process, they have this choice whether they go ahead with fuel oils or they go ahead with bitumen. So what I've come to understand that producing fuel oil, they have a better value proposition than bitumen. Okay, लेकिन अगर कल को गवर्नमेंट इंटरमीन कर देता है कि नहीं भाई बहुत ज्यादा बिटुमेन इंपोर्ट हो रहा है, इनको बिटुमेन प्रोड्यूस करना ही करना है, तो ऑब्वियसली दैट वुड बी एन एंटीथेसिस टू दिस कंपनी. Okay, because then in that case imports would be impacted. All right, but having said that, let me and the analysts, they keep on asking this question to the management, so let me show you their response as well. All right, so I have the Feb 23 earnings call open again. So let me go to page 14, which I have, I think it's page 16. Right, so doesn't matter. So see, not only in this earning call, they have consistently maintained that no material addition in bitumen capacity by PSUs despite refining capacity addition. They constantly, they have been saying that. So you could perhaps see, I always take management's commentary with a pinch of salt. It can be a little self-serving at times. Okay, so you always got to view with that lens. Okay, all right. So, but that's what they say. All right. So that is one, but it's true that producing fuel oils as a byproduct has a better value proposition over bitumen by PSUs. That's why there is this, I think there is this over optimism by management. All right. So this is one antithesis which could play out if government were to intervene. Okay. The second antithesis is, which again is there in this earnings call, okay, is cement as an alternative to bitumen. Okay. So what they say is, the concretization doesn't have any impact on their business because concrete roads are mainly used in inland city roads, concrete cement, and not in highways. That's what they're saying. लेकिन ये सच है, this is true, कि all the new road tenders for NHAI, they are largely for bitumen. They have the bitumen portion only. If you look at management's commentary, and I did some digging as well. Okay, yeah, okay, because as informed, the cement road is not being taken up by NHAI as of now. Okay, so NHAI जो roads जो construct हो रहे हैं, they are largely bitumen, right? Okay, but again, this is so you got to keep in mind that cement is an alternative, and but see there are arguments both in favor of cement and against cement. But what I could find is that the cement ka road. Let me not scroll and distract you. So the cement ka road, they generate a lot of friction in the tires. Okay, and the tire gets heated up. So it may not be very safe. Okay, and plus cement ka road construction is very capital intensive, and this bitumen ka road construction is cost effective. Although cement may, there is less wear and tear. All right. Okay. But again, these could be two antithesis points. One is alternative to bitumen, and the other is government intervening and mandating these refineries in India to produce bitumen. So that could reduce the import dependence. Okay, which would be a negative for this company. All right. So let's go further. All right. So until now, what we have seen is their different business segments, and we have also seen the demand and what they're doing to capture this demand. All right, in this business, right? So let's look at some of let's try to understand the business further. Okay. So I'll go back again to their to one of their earning call transcript. This is from November 2022. Okay. So see, they are in the business of importing a commodity and then selling it over in India. Okay, so this is a commodity business. Bitumen is a commodity, right? So commodity ka price goes up and down. Okay, so so what they're saying here is the price of the commodity. If you read through this para, so you get a sense that price of the commodity is actually set by PSUs. Okay, the PSUs जो हैं India में, they are the price setters, and these guys are the price takers. Okay, so when you're actually dealing with a commodity business, you do not overemphasize on the percentage profitability, rather on the spread, the absolute profitability, which is also called the spread. Okay, कितने में आपने माल उठाया और कितने में बेचा. Okay, so what they are saying here is that more or less the analyst asks this question, that what happens to the spread when there is pressure, okay, in the demand, because the prices go up and down. So what I could make out from the response of the management is, if you read here on my notes, is the spread is more or less maintained. Okay, that's what they're saying. Okay, and also if I just take you over to my Excel sheet, okay, I'm just making, yeah. So if you just look at the cells in green here, just the cells in green, okay, you would see around 40,000 they sell it for in India. That's the bitumen realization per ton. 40,000 rupees में बेचते हैं India में. Okay, all right, and then this is the price COGS at which they acquire per ton. Okay, All right. And then they make mota 2,500 rupees per ton gross profit. All right. So this is the spread that we were talking about. Okay. All right. But actually, and we can get to all these numbers in detail in video 3 when I value this business. And don't worry, if you want, I'll share the spreadsheet with you. No problem whatsoever. Okay. Because I want you guys to learn. Okay. So see, this is not only bitumen. Okay. Because I just took it from the standalone numbers, and you don't have to get into it right now. But this also in the standalone business, they also have road logistics because they have the fleet in India. Okay. And they give their fleet on rent to different third parties in India as well. And they make some money from there as well. It's small, but some of that is included in these numbers as well. Okay. But mota, think of these as bitumen ke numbers. So they make around 2,400 gross profit. But that's the spread. All right. Okay. So that is there. And another thing which is important to highlight is let's look at this business from a Potter's five forces point of view. Okay. So first, let's talk about the customers. Okay. So I have the earnings call open. So if we go to Feb 24 earnings call, okay. So see, these are their customers, example customers, IOCL. They also supply to PSUs. They in bitumen. Okay, if they need. So 5% of the revenue comes from these PSUs, IOCL, HPCL, and they obviously supply to road construction companies like J Matre, which is in Mumbai, and then Shapurji, Palunji as well, and other road construction companies. Okay, and so these are the customers. And one thing more that needs to be kept in mind. Okay, again, just switching back and forth between earning call transcripts is that they don't have any long-term contracts with the customers. Okay, all right, that's important. See, bitumen is definitely needed. Okay, but it's just that they don't have to enter into long-term contracts, but they have certainly a good clientele. Okay, so this is on the customers. Now talking about suppliers. See, their suppliers are majorly these Gulf countries from where they get their product. Okay, and now talking about competition, I'd say so they have 15% market share in the bitumen import market in India. Okay, so that means there are other companies in this market. The benefit that these guys, Agarwal Industrial, they have over their competition, the benefit is that Agarwal Industrial has a lot of infrastructure built in India, which I think I touched upon earlier in this video. Okay? That they have their own ports, they have their own storage facilities, okay, so on and so forth. So they have all this structure, and what they claim is that none of their competition has the kind of structure that they have. Okay, and they are the largest importers of bitumen in India. There are other players, but they are relatively small, at least for now. Okay, all right. So that's there. But if we talk about threat of new entrants, see, so there could be new entrants certainly, and their existing competition also could become big, but it would take them a while, in my opinion, to kind of get that infrastructure built over time. All right, so that's there. And then there is also they have competition from as we discussed from these PSUs as well, which we touched upon. But right now, the PSU production seems to be range bound. Okay, but it may increase in the future. Okay, if government mandates it to. Now, I think hopefully this was helpful. So in the next, so hopefully got an sense of the business. I know I did not really get into many numbers. Like I was more qualitative than quantitative than I'm usually am. In the next video, I will talk about their management. Let's assess their management quality. We'll go through the annual reports, and I'll just take you through some of the notes that I've prepared. Okay, regarding the management. Okay, and then in third video, we'll value this business. Okay, there we'll do some number heavy lifting. All right. Okay. Thank you.